This is Morning Edition from NPR News. Our theme music was composed by B.J. Liederman. I'm Martinez.
And I'm Steve Inskeep.
And I'm Tiffany Hansen here at WNYC for your Friday, October 4th. It's Morning Edition. So glad you're with us. Coming up next hour, an infamous jail in downtown Paterson, New Jersey is on the verge of being demolished. We'll hear about the Passaic County Jail and a 2008 lawsuit against Passaic County's government and jail officials over conditions at that jail. That case led to a multi-million-dollar effort to bring the structure up to code. We'll hear about all of that coming up next hour here on Morning Edition. Do stay with us for that. Coming up later today, some sunshine, a high near 74 degrees for your Friday. And for the weekend, looking pretty much the same. Sunshine for the weekend, highs in the mid-70s. A nice, beautiful fall weekend ahead. Our next best chance for showers doesn't really come until Sunday night into the early morning hours on Monday. Right now, 61 degrees under a fair sky here in Soho.
WNYC is supported by the Museum of the City of New York, presenting Art Deco City New York postcards from the Leonard A. Lauder Collection, which celebrates New York City's emergence as a cosmopolitan metropolis. More at mcny.org.
If it happens in New York, you'll hear about it on WNYC. Like this exciting party to celebrate our 100th birthday. We'll have an open bar and iconic New York City foods, dancing and a photo booth, a live DJ, and folks from your favorite programs. Ticket sales support WNYC and Gothamist. Join us Tuesday, November 19th at 9 p.m. Get your tickets today at WNYC.org/party.
Seaports from Boston to Houston are back in business.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Schwab. Schwab offers investors choices like full-service wealth management, self-directed investing options, and trading on Think or Swim. More at schwab.com. And by C3 Generative AI, verified traceable answers, secure, hallucination-free, LLM-agnostic, IP liability-free C3.ai. This is Enterprise AI.
I'm David Brancaccio. Dock workers have suspended their strike after a new offer from shipping companies. A strike that had immobilized vast swaths of America's supply chains. This is not a tentative contract deal at this stage. It's a temporary agreement for cargo handlers to work ahead of a new deadline in January now. Marketplace's Nova Safo has more.
The two sides did not reveal details of the latest wage offer that ended a strike that had threatened to upend supply chains and raise shipping and consumer prices. But going into the strike, the head of the Dock Workers Union, Harold Daggett, said they were demanding a $5 an hour pay increase for each of the next 6 years. The port operator's previous offer was for a nearly 50% increase. Their latest offer was apparently for more than that. Left unresolved is the union's demand for no automation or semi-automation at East and Gulf Coast ports. Dock workers worry they'll lose jobs. The two sides have until January 15 to resolve that and other issues, or the strike could resume. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
Economic forecasters are expecting a steady jobs report later this morning covering September. The betting is that hiring will be in line with August and that the unemployment rate will hold steady. We shall see, right? 8:30 Eastern time for that. Stock index futures are pointing up. S&P futures are up 0.25% ahead of the unemployment report. Crude oil is up 4% from this time yesterday after President Biden flagged that Israel was considering a strike on Iran's oil facilities, still at $74 a barrel. Crude oil is not that high. It's down 14% from its 2024 peak. The Biden administration's latest student loan forgiveness proposal is on hold. It was blocked by a federal judge after a group of Republican attorneys general sued to stop it. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has that update.
The Biden administration proposed this new student debt relief plan after the Supreme Court struck down its original proposal. This new plan would forgive debt for people who now owe more than they did when they started repaying their student loans. Borrowers who have been making student loan payments for at least 20 or 25 years, people who were eligible for loan forgiveness but never applied, and borrowers who enrolled in career training that left them with a lot of debt in low-paying jobs. Yesterday, a federal judge in Missouri blocked the new debt cancellation plan. He said it would hurt a student loan servicer created by the state. Missouri got the case after a Georgia judge decided that state didn't have standing to sue. The Republican attorneys general who brought the lawsuit said the Biden administration was exceeding its authority and the loan forgiveness plan would hurt state tax revenue. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business, aiming to help save time by offering smart business buying solutions so there's more time to focus on growing the business and less time doing the admin. More at AmazonBusiness.com. And by Clear Channel Outdoor, offering a nationwide network of billboards and data solutions that help businesses build brand awareness and influence consumer behavior. Billboardsforbusiness.com. And by How We Survive, a podcast from Marketplace. Kai Ryssdal explores the fight against climate change. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Now to our series this election season about political polarization in America, in particular how companies intensify or ease political divides by taking sides, taking stands, and or bringing us together. Today, the almost archaeological, painstaking process of teasing out which corporate money goes to Democrats and which to Republicans. Sarah Briner is Director of Research and Strategy at the campaign finance tracking organization Open Secrets. Sarah, welcome.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Who's giving the most to one side or the other? Do you have any companies that you've identified?
Typically, we actually see the biggest donors being individual billionaires. And top of the list this year so far is Timothy Mellon, who's basically an heir, who has given tremendously to the Republican side of things this cycle. And most of the top givers this cycle are Republicans, but Michael Bloomberg, former aspirational presidential candidate, is a top Democratic donor this cycle. You know, these are people who aren't necessarily household names to normal folks, and they tend to be the top funnelers of money to both parties.
So they do it as individuals, but some companies you've identified are giving.
It's a bag of companies that, again, aren't necessarily the ones you'd think of. So Uline Incorporated is near the top of the pack. Uline is a packaging company, and they do give, but really it's hedge funds, venture capital, some unions, not necessarily, again, retail corporations that we know.
Remind us again, as a person who's done many stories about dark money, why is it so opaque?
Dark money is what we call donations to super PACs. So a super PAC is a political committee that exists to support or oppose a specific candidate or group of candidates. And dark money these days typically takes the form of donations to those super PACs. The super PAC has to disclose the donors, but if the donor has a name like 1234 LLC, we don't know who that is.
So given the fact that dark money is legal in America, we really can't know fully who is behind the money that is flowing into politics in many situations.
It is legal insofar as a certain degree of non-disclosure is allowable. It is becoming illegal in certain jurisdictions. Arizona passed a ballot initiative very recently saying that any donors to any group spending on advertisements in their state need to trace the money all the way down. And Arizona is one of, the first states to take this kind of action. They're still implementing it, but nationally, we might have a long way to go, but there is progress and is movement at the state level.
Sarah Briner is Director of Research and Strategy at the campaign finance watchdog Open Secrets. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
In the coming weeks, in this office politics project here, how companies can keep their workforces from being jerks to each other at a time of heated political rhetoric. All of our coverage is accumulating for your streaming convenience at marketplace.org. Our executive producer is Kelly Silvera. Our digital producer is Dylan Mietnin. Our engineers are J.C. Bold, John Brewington, and Jessen Duller. In New York, I'm David Brancaccio, Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.